I might like it, she might like it, she might like it, but everybody else is not going to like that. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. So with these nails, I'm going to give y'all a more simple look because I just be having to come to the realization not everybody likes those extra nails and some people do just like to go simple. So starting off, I'm going to start off with my matte top coat, and y'all know I have to apply it before I do anything. Now this look is going to be based off of the look on my previous video, but just like a more simple down version. I don't know how to explain it. A more dumbed down version of the extraness of that. The mistakes that I have learned from doing nail art has definitely helped me improve and become quicker with certain techniques. And I wanted to show y'all these techniques because it can help y'all grow faster. So y'all won't have to go through any of that. Because trust me, I know that trial and error stage is a headache. That trial and error stage is not for the weak. Like I was really going through some struggles to where I didn't want to pick up my brush at all again. I'm like, all right, I'm done with this. Like, Now let's get into the materials. The materials are whatever you want to make them, honestly. They don't have to coordinate or none of that. I feel like what makes this look real springy and fun and simple is that you could literally choose any colors that you want and make them coordinate with each other. Like, they're just gonna look cute. I know y'all gonna get tired of me, but y'all already know I gotta go in with my matte top coat. And I'm gonna lay out my colors on the palette and I'll be back. All the colors that I'm using is by D&D besides the top coat and then the matte top coat. Now, the only thing I don't like about D&D is their colors are like a hit or a miss. Like, they have their really pigmented colors like that color right there. But that yellow and this blue that I have is kind of like watered down and like sheer-ish. It just doesn't be the color that you're going to think it's going to be. Because you know how the bottle be like the color that it's supposed to be. But those colors, I don't know what happened to them, but they're like real watered down. Now with the yellow, I did have to mix it with some white because I knew on its own it wouldn't be as pigmented as I needed it to be. So I laid the white down first and then I'm going to dab on the yellow because I don't want the yellow to be too pigmented. I just need it to be a real light, subtle yellow. And I'm just going to go in and add a little dab. I like to add one little drop at a time because you can always go back and add more, but it's really hard to take it away. I'm just going to take my dotting tool to mix that all together. I wouldn't want to use a brush because the brush is going to pick up most of the pigment and then I have to mix it all over again. But as y'all can see, the color just comes to life and it's just the perfect yellow. The length of the brush that I prefer that you use, especially when you're starting out, not the long one because that one, it just holds too much product, and not the one that's too short. These brushes that I have is by Petals. They usually come like color coordinated from the lengths. When the brush is short, you're able to have more control of the motion where you want to move the brush and the amount of product that you have on the brush. So going in to create the flowers, I'm just going to go in and honestly, I chose the colors really randomly with creating the dots. Now, whatever color I pick for the dots, I'm just going to pick the opposite color for the petals. Now, you can put the same color, but it's not going to have that springy colorful effect if you put the same color as the center. Whatever color I have with my dotting tool at the moment, I like to just finish it off on the rest of the nails. Like, if I need to put yellow on any of the rest of the nails, I was just going to go ahead and do that. But if not, you could just stick your dotting tool in the acetone, clean it off, and dip it to the next color. But that yellow that day was not trying to come off my dotting tool. It was being real stubborn, and it ended up mixing in with the pink. And I was just like, okay, let me thoroughly clean this off because I don't need these colors to mix together. The dots is like the base of the design. Now, you want to make sure how you place the dots because once you start doing the petals, you don't want them to be on top of each other or in between each other, none of that. You want somebody to see your nails and be like, okay, that's a flower. You don't want them to be like, girl, what's that? The best way to put the dots is diagonal. I wouldn't put them like directly across from each other because then it's going to look weird and it's just going to look real symmetrical. You don't want it to look symmetrical. You want it to look like it's like random even though it's not. When putting gel polish on your brush, you don't want too much to be on there because then it could just spread and go everywhere. And you don't want too little to be on there because it could give you a hard time with moving the gel around to create the nail art because it could come off real streaky and stiff. Starting off wherever you want to start your first petal, you're just going to start off by drawing a straight line. Using that line as a guide to start back at the beginning and curve out to your left once you get to the middle and then curve out to the right. And you're going to meet it at the bottom and round it off. And once you get a good enough gel polish on your brush, you shouldn't have to go dip back in until you're ready to start the next petal. Now with doing these flowers, you want them to look animated. You don't want them to touch each other. Like no parts of the flowers should be touching each other. You want the petals to have like a nice distance from the center. You want the petals to not be on top of each other or laying on top of each other. And another tip, I always struggle with this with doing nail art. Move your hand around. I was the type of person, I would try to keep my hand in the same position the whole time. No, that's just going to make it even harder. If you have to position your hand differently or position the brush differently, like move the brush around, like get a feel for it. Get a feel for what makes you comfortable and what's going to make this process faster and easier. If you know that you're clumsy or you feel like your client is clumsy, cure it as you go. Now with the dots, I did cure the dots before I started doing the petals. So if you're in the midst of doing the petals and let's say you just get an inkling like, okay, I need to cure this, or okay, this is perfect, let me go ahead and cure this one petal. If you have to do that because you don't want to sit there and mess it up and have to repeat the step all over again. And whatever color you have on your brush at the time, make sure you fill in the flowers that's that same color because that'll cut down some of your time too. Because I used to like clean my brush off after every color and be like, okay, I'm just trying to finish this nail. But no, it's way faster if you just finish off all the yellow flowers that's on your hand and then clean the brush off and just go to the next color. Throughout the video, you're definitely going to see me like flip my hand around a lot because I like to look at it from my perspective or the client's perspective because you never know. From this angle, it might be straight, but then you'll turn it around and it'll be crooked. Using a 3D flower brush to remove any gel from unwanted places is great because the point on there is great to get in those little crevices. I love background when doing nail art. I feel like that's what makes the nails come together. So in this clip, I was trying to experiment with doing a little background. Y'all, it it didn't turn out too smooth. But I got the hang of it the second time though. I honestly couldn't even tell y'all what I was trying to achieve, but I know I kind of wanted it to be like dots slash stems. Y'all just watch. Placing the dots first and then trying to draw the stems to the dots was not the way to go. It wasn't seamless enough for me. It just looked out of place. It was ugly. And I really tried to make it work. I tried until I kept pausing and coming to my senses. This is not going to work. There is no way this is going to work at all. And this is where curing it as you go comes in handy, because if I would not have cured it, it would have just wiped my whole flower off. But good thing I did, and all I have to do is just take that little skinny 3D brush and try it again. And what I noticed is it comes out better if I draw the stems first and then place the dots at the end of the stems. But as I was going, I was like, okay, I'm gonna draw the stems and curve them out, like just flicking the brush out like effortlessly from one line. And to achieve those thin lines, you really have to know the amount of pressure that you're putting on your brush. When you lighten up the pressure, that's when the line is going to come out thin and skinnier. Now, if you apply more pressure, that's when it's going to become thicker. So at the beginning of the stem, you want to apply some pressure, and then you want to lighten it up when you get towards the end. So when you flick it out, it just looks effortlessly and cute. And adding the little dots to the end of it, I thought it was just a cute little touch. Now these, you can just put them all over the nail wherever you want to place them. You could do either, you could pull out 2 stems, or you could just pull out 1, or you could do 3 like how I did the first one. It's all up to you. But you can't achieve those thin, crisp lines if you have a lot of product on your brush. To do those thin lines, you cannot have a lot of product on your brush, and it's better to use the tip of the brush when doing that. When I say lighten your pressure, it basically means kind of lift the brush up to where you're just using the tip of the brush. You're not using the whole brush. Taking my Koopa's top coat to seal everything on in and make it all come to life. I love this top coat. It's just so shiny and it just seals everything all together. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know how you liked the video and how you think the nails turned out. The only thing with top coat is it can change the shape of your nails. Not too much, but it can alter it just a little bit and round those edges. And who wants rounded edges? So I just like to wipe off the edges of my nails to make sure none of that top coat is built up on there before I go ahead and cure it. This is the final product of my nails. I would like to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. And if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to see you guys in my next one. Bye.